This week marked the 52nd straight week with high unemployment claims, and surprisingly, they actually rose from the previous week. More than 1 million people filed for state and emergency federal unemployment benefits. The state of Rhode Island is working to reverse the trend, matching several thousand residents with employers who need employees. Paul Salmon has our report for our series, Work Shift, which focuses on navigating the job market in a post-COVID economy.
I'm thinking of changing careers. What have you got?
Do you want a law enforcement career?
Meet Skipper, Rhode Island's job matchmaker, hooking up employers looking for labor with the state's unemployed due to COVID. Erica Hanley worked for a travel agency.
All of a sudden, everything stopped, and I lost my job.
Renato Quieras was running catering for a Newport resort when COVID hit.
And I just didn't feel safe anymore, especially with weddings and parties. You can't keep people apart.
Mary Clausen had 2 retail jobs. Both went kaput.
I felt a lot of anxieties. What do I do now?
And Craig Garner lost the latest of his many warehouse jobs.
Never over $12.
Never over $12 an hour?
No, and if you got a raise, it was maybe like 10 cents, 15 cents. You know, nothing you can live off of,
Just 4 of some 7,000 state residents who've signed up with Back to Work Rhode Island, a program that's used CARES Act millions to train folks for jobs that the state's employers just can't fill. And it turns out there are plenty of those.
It is very tough to find workers. I mean, you can schedule someone for an interview and they don't even come for their interview.
Karen Paolucci heads HR at industrial robot maker Yushin.
Last year, I spent $25,000 on recruiting fees, just trying to fill open positions. And with COVID, it didn't help, because if you could stay home, you could make the $600 stimulus on top of what you would receive from unemployment.
Now, a number of academic studies dispute that the $600 discouraged work. But I've interviewed several workers and employers who echoed Paolucci's stay-at-home claim. As for Craig Garner, did you know people who did that?
Absolutely, but I just couldn't be one of those people.
So what did you do?
It was tough because everything was shut down. And then eventually I started seeing Gina Raimondo on TV.
If you're a Rhode Islander and you're hearing this and you're out of work and you're afraid, Back to Work RI.
That's former Rhode Island Governor Gina Raimondo, now President Biden's Commerce Secretary.
This is a big deal. This isn't just job training.
She also touted the Back to Work program to employers.
This isn't train and pray. We're not going to train and pray you hire folks. We will tailor these training initiatives so that when you hire someone, you have confidence that they're going to be able to do the job.
So Craig Garner signed up and soon got an interview at Yushin. He forgot, however, about dressing for success.
Craig came down in his jogging pants, and I wasn't 100% impressed.
One thing that seemed to turn off people at Yushin when you arrived was you were wearing sweatpants.
Man, after I left the building, I thought about that for the whole month. If I lose this opportunity over sweatpants, I'll be very extremely mad.
Especially since the job, in which he'd learned how to build robots, offered him a way out of dead-end warehouse work. In the end,
I wasn't happy with his jogging pants, but he said, I want to work. If you give me a chance, I can prove you that I'll be an asset to your company. That hit my heart.
You can never judge a book by its cover. Never.
And never judge a job applicant by his sweatpants?
Yes.
For Craig Garner, then, not just a new job, but a new career. Same for laid-off retail worker Mary Clausen, age 32, who one day last summer happened to check out the state labor department's website.
And I saw that the very next day they were having this Zoom info session for this behavioral health specialist training. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to do this more than anything.
You mean this was literally your dream job?
Yes.
But with no college degree, Clausen felt she wasn't qualified. Now, after the 5-week full-time program, a collaboration of a local hospital, a community college, and the state, she runs therapy groups for hospitalized adolescents.
And there are more opportunities that sort of arise as you kind of move up in the ranks a bit, which is just this amazing feeling because we're there every day trying to help give these kids some bit of hope. To kind of feel some of that with sort of straightening out my own life is this really powerful thing.
There are a lot of jobs that with reasonable amount of training, one can be real good at and thrive.
Especially, says Scott Jensen, head of the state's Department of Labor and Training, if employers are intimately involved and hand-holding would-be employees through the process.
So, did you like science class in high school? Sure, I loved it. Oh, and you're in the hospitality industry now. Okay. Have you ever thought about being a process technologist?
An advanced manufacturing worker, that is, using cutting-edge machines.
You want better purity than yield.
As, for example, in the pharmaceutical industry.
I was enamored with the idea of going from food to the sciences.
Turns out, laid-off catering manager Renato Queiroz had liked science class.
Biotechnology, right away. I could see myself doing it.
But biotech? For a 31-year-old who'd never even signed up for college?
What went through your mind?
That I must have been crazy.
But he wasn't.
I'm in talks with MGen right now. I'm waiting for a start date.
You've actually already got a job in industry?
Correct. I am astounded because I didn't have any experience going in.
But he got 10 weeks of training on state-of-the-art equipment, just like he'll be using at Amgen's new plant in Rhode Island.
So it's basically getting those that are underemployed and unemployed trained and ready to go and enter an industry that needs people to get into that industry.
Give yourselves a round of applause.
Just like Erica Hanley, the former travel industry sales rep, now with a newly minted certificate in mortgage finance.
They saw that people are retiring, so there was a need for trained individuals to come into the mortgage banking industry.
And how much did this cost you?
Nothing. This was free. This was covered by the state of Rhode Island.
But what if you can't afford to be out of work while training?
We pay for people's laptops. We pay for things like your grocery bills, in things like new brakes for your car, for child care.
We end this story with economist Bob Lerman, a skeptic of many job training programs.
It's good, but it's just not, in my view, good enough.
Instead, Lerman advocates apprenticeship programs, like the one he took us 2 years ago at BMW's Spartanburg, South Carolina plant, where trainees are paid to learn on the job.
I'd like to have a little bonus for completion so that there's an incentive for them to do a really good job, stay until the end of the apprenticeship and really master a skill.
So why not apprenticeships, I asked Scott Jensen.
We see a lot of work to training programs that really are apprenticeship, but just aren't called that. These are quicker. So apprenticeship by any other name is still a good deal.
And that, thinks Rhode Island at least, is what they've got. For the PBS NewsHour, Paul Saltman.